and sales when Britain decides to leave the EU. 需要先做您的您觉得做销售现在我们做销售还有哪些方面的一些主要的挑战或者是说？你这边现在什么？ Yes, please. Yes.
Beside the price delivery time and payment term,
Okay.
Like after
Sure.
So
Okay.
Long
Long payment terms, 90 days, 180.
and kickback.
Okay.
Hiding regulation.
Right.
Some industry.
Sure.
And as a multinational company, we have issues compliance.
Sure.
Trade-wise, we cannot proceed. But sometimes this is a part of the customer requirement.
Sure.
And also, so I work for the automotive industry.
Okay.
And very often some local customers ask us to give some technical concept and some simulation at once.
Sure.
And later,
They use your plan and do it internally, or give it to their
give
current
it
supplier.
to the cheaper competitor. We lose
Sure.
the contract.
Sure.
And also, besides this, the conditions and terms, very often our headquarters have a lot of regulation guideline, and we need to report, go through the heritage before. This cannot match the fast reaction from the customer side.
Sure.
So basically.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Good.
Okay, it's Frank. Usually we meet so many competitors based on project, only 4 or 5 companies. And then, of course, long delivery time.
Okay.
Price is high and low flexibility.
Okay.
It means not only in the solution but also in the communication. And this is fixed. This is cannot be changed. Low flexibility. And long feedback time. Usually we need to get solution from Sweden, so back forward for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes like this. And different culture.
How do you find different culture?
Usually the thinking is different from Europe and in China. For example, we will face 1 month holiday in Sweden now. So everything is stopped.
We're here.
So everything is stopped. So customer says, "Hey, how can you do this? The installation is stopped. Everything is stopped. No one will come to
Sweden is out of the Euro now, so they're back to it. They're out of the football. They're back to work. We'll catch work.
So we will face a lot of these kind of things.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are the same.
Sure.
Guys, delivery time, mentioned here, sometimes over-specified and too complex solutions.
Right. From the customer or from us? Okay.
Customer is not ready for
Okay.
flexibility mentioned. And this goes hand in hand with this, that sometimes customers' mindset is not, cannot understand.
Sure.
We make it so complex. And then also the relationship or lack of, if we don't have a good relation with customer, if two similar solutions, sure they go with the relationship is better.
Right. Thank you. Now there are a few things. Interestingly, the reason that we are having this workshop today is because we did another workshop for the Swedish Chamber on how to deal with requests for kickbacks. 如果客户要回扣，你怎么办？ Right. So that was how it all started. So we mentioned about things on kickback. Now, in terms of kickback, very briefly, there are 3 things to understand about when customers ask for kickbacks, or there are different types of customers. There's one type of customer that what we call is they are very corrupted. Right? They will want kickbacks no matter what. Right? If you don't give any kickbacks, they'll say no. right? And even if you were to say, can I give you something, or if they were to ask you for something, it's not to buy from you. They ask you for something, it's for you to be able to talk to their boss. 他那回扣不是说你事成之后我给你多少，而是说你如果要找我老板，那你就要给我好处，right? So it's prevalent in throughout the whole organization. So if this is the kind of customer that you're facing, then probably this may not be our targeted customer. 就不是我们要找客户。Right? So that's one type. The second type is what we call customers may or may not want to have the kickback, right? But if you are giving, they don't mind taking. 这客户未必就是一定要强调他能够捞到什么好处，但只要有人给他就不借他。So that's a slight difference here. So the customers that are asking for kickback, they are just asking casually, if this were to succeed, how much can I get? 如果这事情办成了，我能够给多少？我能够得多少？ Right. So 你能给我多少好处？ Right. These are some of the things that either you can say no, which you have a risk of the customer not wanting to talk to you, or you can tell the customer, well, we can discuss later. What we want to do is to discuss about how to make sure that we deliver the solution that will work for you. 你要好处嘛，这东西嘛，这东西你懂的，我不能随意承诺。Right? Can't promise you anything. You understand, right? 你懂的。But what we can do now is make sure that we focus on the right solution. Right? So we can do a diversion till later. There's one thing to note about foreign companies. Generally, our customers will know that foreign companies do not give kickbacks. 外资企业通常不会给会回扣。There are two kinds of companies that won't give kickbacks. One is foreign companies. The other one is state-owned companies. 国营企业也不会给人回扣，现在也管得很严。Right? So these are the two companies that will not give kickbacks. So most of the time, the customers actually know that if they ask for a quotation from a foreign company, if they want to talk to us, most of the time they know they will not be getting any kickback. 那是捞到好处的。But some customers will just want to try. Why? Because a minority of foreign companies will still give some kickbacks. Right? Some foreign companies will give something that is not in cash, but may be still compliant according to their rules. 有些外资企业会给一些东西，但这东西不是直接的一个现金，但从他们的公司角度来说，还是算比较违规的。Just to give an example, once upon a time, when customers are bidding for lifts in building, 就大楼里面的电梯 right? It's a tall building, more than 50 stories high, tall building. So the customer says, how do I know that the lift will work properly in a tall building? There were not enough tall buildings in China back then. Right? So I want to know how this lift is going to work in the right way in a tall building. Or there are not enough tall buildings in China back then. So they want to make sure that the lifts work properly in a tall building. So what they do is they ask the manufacturer. So there are two manufacturers. One is from Germany, one is from Japan. 这两家的供应商，一个日本的，一个德国的。I want to see how your lifts operate in the right way in your home country. 我要看到你本国你的电梯到底是怎么样操作。So what it means is they get a free tour going to Germany or Europe, and part of the work is to go into a tall building and take a lift up and down. Right? 到高楼那边高峰时期来试一下这个电梯。Go to Europe to do that, go to Japan to do that, go to Tokyo to do that. But the ultimate objective is to have a free tour of Europe and a free tour of Japan. Right? But they're able to phrase it in a way that it sounds like it's work related. Just to go to a different country and take the lift. 到一个不同国家来乘搭电梯。Right? That's all they did. Right? So there are foreign companies that can bend the rules a little bit and be more flexible in that sense. There are also foreign companies, although this is getting more and more stricter and stricter. 现在有些方式也越来越严格。Right? There are other foreign companies who say that, whatever you want, talk to my distributor. 你要什么你就跟我的那个经销商去商量。Right? Whatever you agree with my distributor, don't tell me. 你跟我经销商有怎么样的一些承诺协议，千万不要跟我说。Right? So that's some foreign companies were doing, but even this is getting more and more stricter. 就是越来越严格啊。So it's you're getting less and less of that. Ultimately, from the customer's point of view, if they know that if I talk to you, I can still get some kickback, if I can get something good out of it, if I can get some benefits in inverted commas, benefits out of it, then I expect that I will get benefits every time I talk to you. 如果这些客户他们聊的时候，他的期望是我只要跟你谈，我就能够捞到一点好处。那他的期望就是什么？我下次再跟你谈，我肯定能捞到好处。Right? So that's the customer's expectation. On the other hand, the customer comes to you, and every time they talk to you, they could not get anything. 如果这个客户每次跟我们谈，他都知道跟我们谈是绝对捞不到什么好处的，捞不到任何好处的。So the expectation， 他下一次的期望就是跟咱谈是没好处。Right? So there will be other things other than a kickback that the customer may be interested in. 客户嘛找我们还找任何一家供应商，有些客户他是希望能够捞到一些好处，但除了好处以外，他还有其他方面的一些要求。There are other benefits other than whether it's a kickback, whether it's a price, there are other demands from the customer. So what we want to do is to focus on the other demands. Right? The other thing interesting is called IP protection. That's in front of the book. If you're talking about IP protection, right, a lot of times when we talk about Industry 4.0, talk about solution sales, there will be companies saying, can you propose a good solution? Right? And then we go in and propose a nice solution. And we spend a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of technical people's effort to propose a good solution. 让很多技术人员进场，然后来提供一个很好的一个提案。And then they take the solution and ask the current supplier to do. 就拿你的提案，然后就让他现有的这个供应商来实施。Right? And the key thing is not just about stealing our intellectual property. The thing is that when they get their current supplier to use our what we call our solution or to implement our solution, there is a high chance that they will implement it in the wrong way. 就是说你的那个设计、你的构思，你给了客户，客户就是盗取之后呢，让他现有供应商以更低的价格来实施。关键是他做了之后，他的那个什么，他的这个效果，他的那个就是做工没办法达标。Right? So when they're not able to deliver what you are supposed to deliver in the solution, instead of blaming that their current supplier because they are cheap or they are too cheap and as a result they are not able to do a good job, they blame your solution. 他不去怪他，因为他这个经销商他的目前的那个供应商用太低廉的方式，就是价格压太低，因此没办法，就是做得很好很顺。他不怪这个低廉的这供应商，他反而说是你的提案不好。So what happens to us is that firstly we become a free consultant. 我们做了一个顾问，这个顾问是不收费的。Right? Because we give them a good solution, and then we don't get paid. That's one. Number two is that not only we don't get paid, the customer actually uses someone else and deliver a bad job, and we get blamed for the solution. 就那什么，赔了夫人又折兵，就吃力不讨好，给那个免费的东西你盗取还没关系，你还说我这个东西不好。Right? So these are some of the things that we may face as potential pitfall. So how do we do with that? How do we deal with the IP protection? One of the key things to do is we need to be selective. 你要做这个越是方案越复杂的一些项目，我们越是要更加就是严格的筛选客户。Right? We got to think about what kinds of customers are good for complex solutions. What are the customers that are more likely to work with us together? And what are the customers that has a high chance of stealing our concept and giving it to our current competitors? So this is something that we need to be selective. Sometimes as sales, right? Sometimes as sales, we may think that any business is good business. 有时候作为销售，我们会考虑到有生意总比没生意好，有人买单总比没人买单好。Right? That's our mentality. We want to chase after targets, 我们完成指标。But the thing is that there are businesses that are really bad. 我们有些单子，有些那个生意是宁可不接，接了麻烦更大。There are some businesses that when you get the business, you may meet your targets. 有些单子你接了，你可能能够完成你的指标，但是后续后患无穷。Right? The follow-up may result in a lot of serious problems. So in the face of that, we probably need to be a little bit more selective as into what kinds of customers we want to work with, especially for the complex solutions. Right? And we'll talk about that over the next 2 days. So over the 2 days, this is some of the things that we're going to do. We want to understand the solution buying process from customer's point of view. How does customer perceive solutions in general? Number 2, how do we then target the right kinds of customers? 我们怎么去筛选合适的一些客户？ How we then qualify the right kinds of opportunities in terms of not just customers, but if the customer has a need, what kinds of need are we able to fulfill? 客户可能有不同需求，哪些需求是我们能够满足，哪些需求是我们不能够满足？ How we then discover the needs, goals, and challenges. How we identify the key influences and decision makers. If you want to do a negotiation, what are some of the hot buttons? If you want to do some bidding, 如果你要做一些竞标的话，客户的一些热点的一些差异化，我们怎么去看到？How we then close on the customer, which includes handling some objections, we do some price negotiations, and towards the end, it's more about how you manage a whole sales process of the pipeline. Right? One of the key things about pipeline, 那个销售管道。Anyone not familiar with the term sales pipeline? 有没有不了解销售管道这个名词？也叫销售漏斗 ，also called sales funnel. Right? One of the key things that we are not able to say no to a certain customer. 有时候我们无法拒绝某些客户，都要回扣，我们很难拒绝。客户要降价，我们也很难拒绝。客户要我们先提案，我们也很难拒绝。Right? Customers may want to have a lot of unreasonable demands, and we find ourselves difficult to say no. One of the reasons is that we don't have enough alternatives in our pipeline. 我们整个管道里面没有足够的其他的销售的一些契机，销售的一些需求。Right? So the customer that is in front of us, 我们面对的那个客户 could be our only hope, could be our only chance of meeting our sales target. 那我们在面对的那个客户可能是我们唯一的救命稻草，能够就是完成指标的救命稻草。So if the customer is going to be your only hope, only chance of meeting your sales target, you'll find it very difficult to say no to the customer. Right? Because saying no could mean that you will not be able to meet the sales target. And so one of the key things about being able to say no to customer, being able to qualify different customer, is about, do you have enough different sales opportunities in your pipeline? If you have different alternatives, you are more likely to be able to say no. 如果你的选择比较多，你要拒绝客户，你要说某些事情不能够做，你比较有底气。Right, so these are some of the things that we will look into. Firstly, we'll look into how we understand from the customer's point of view how they see solutions. So, just a quiz. If you quoted the highest quote for your customers, what are the chances of winning? Now, if you have 3 quotes, they are about the same quality, they're about the same reputation, they're but more or less the same. One quote is the highest, one quote is the middle, one quote is the lowest. And all quotes meet the customer's budget. 如果你现在是竞标，那所有的标书的配置差不多一样，不会差太多。然后呢，这里面有一个报价是最高，一个中等，一个最低，三个报价都满足客户的这个预算。Right. So if you are the highest quote, what do you think will be your chances of success? Then, if you are the lowest quote, what do you think will be chances of your success? 一个百分比。You have a percentage. Highest quote, lowest quote. If your proposal is above percent. 如果你的那个投标、你就是竞标里面的一些配置差不多一样。最高价大家觉得我们的那个胜算大概多少 ？If your highest quote, what do you think will be your chances of success? Make a guess. Just make a number. 20%. Yes. Highest quote 最高价。Less than 10. Less than 10多少 ？5. What about lowest price 最低价
It really doesn't matter for me when we talk about if it's the highest price level. I actually it's much more depending on what kind of customer it is.
Okay, what kind of customer?
I mean, for instance, if it's existing customer,
Sure.
even
Existing customer and
still
new customer.
have better chance.
Right,
Say
right.
If the customer already use our competitors,
Sure,
even
sure.
they are lower,
Mhm.
chance is still so much.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of things depend on whether you are. Is this a new customer or is this an old customer? In general, this is not looking at new or existing customers. In general, this is an audit done by PwC, Pricewaterhouse, and a company that does bidding consulting. 有一家就是专门做竞标的一些顾问公司。What they found from the collected results of the bids， 就是得出了一个结论。Highest score, if everything else is about the same, the chances of success is 7%. 如果竞标里面最高价，如果其他的因素都差不多一样，你得中标率大概是7%。Lowest score, if everything else is the same, the chances of success is 4%. 4%. Right? Again, this is gross average, it's global, and it may differ from case to case. But in general, price does not really matter that much in the bidding. Usually, most of the time, the price is somewhere in the middle. 大部分情况就是价格都是中间价。So that's one part. Now the other thing is, if your proposal is the best amongst all proposals in terms of value for money, 性价比最高 what do you think will be the chances of your success? Look at proposal, it can do a lot of things, and in terms of price, the price is not so expensive, so in all general terms, it's very value for money, it's the best proposal. What do you think will be your chances of success? 性价比最高的这个提案，成功率大概多少 ？80. 还有吗？90. Actually, it's 52. 50%. The best proposal in terms of really value for money, the right type of solution, solving all kinds of customers' issues, everything that are the hot buttons in priority, it all takes care of them. And the price, it's reasonable. Even to that extent, the winning rate is only about 52%. Okay, and the reason is, one, price is not the reason why you lose the sale. The reason what we mentioned is what we mentioned. 80% of the time, customers will reward or award the bid to an existing supplier. 就80%的时候，客户如果是就是落标，给到这个标，都是给现有的供应商。So 80% of the time, customers will give the bid to an existing supplier. 20% of the time, in general, they will give to a new supplier, whether it's something that an existing supplier cannot do, they will have to look out of different reasons. It can be the current supplier being too dominant. They have to look for other new suppliers. It can be out of auditing pressure. They need to look for new suppliers, or other host of reasons. In some cases, that they need to look for new suppliers. 100% of the time, the bids go to a new supplier, or the new supplier has got something that is really much better than what is offered by the existing supplier. Right. So 20% of the time in a bidding process, the bids go to a new supplier. 80% of the time, it goes to an existing supplier. 80%的一个中标率是给现有供应商，20%的是给新的供应商。So that's the difference. So and so this is something that happens. Now imagine that you are working in an office, and out of the blue, 突然间 this new customer call. You have been trying to work with this new customer. They have not been wanting to see you at all. 你很想跟这家新客户就是来谈，而这些新客户呢，就基本上就不睬你，不理睬你。但突然间他就来找你 ，and out of the blue they look for you, and they tell you that okay, we have this bid. 我们有这个标， right? And it's a bit urgent, and it's big. 就又比较迫切，时间比较紧急，然后呢，这个标又比较大 ，right? They want you to bid. You need to submit a proposal within 3 days. 你要3天之内给他这个投标。What do you think will be the chances of your success? 你觉得你的胜算大概多少 ？Zero. Why zero? 赔标。为什么你会觉得是肯定赔标呢 ？Why? There are some telltale signs. 有些有些规律我们可以寻求到，它为什么这个赔标的那个可能性非常高 ？Normally, if a customer has got a big project, they want to give the supplier more time or less time to prepare the proposal. 大的项目。客户是希望给到我们更多的时间，还是少一点时间来做这个标准？多的时间。The bigger the project, they would like you to spend time analyzing, designing, whatever, to give a better proposal, right? So if it's a big project that gives you less time, it looks suspicious, right? Number two, the bigger the bid, the bigger the project. From the customer's point of view, do they want to give to a new supplier or do they want to give to an existing supplier? 项目越大，客户是越想给到新的这种供应商，还是越想给到就是老现有供应商？现有 existing supplier, right? You know one another. There's less risk. There's more familiarity and so on. So if it's a big project, and then they look for you, give you last minute notice, and then you have never worked before, you have not even met more than a few times, it's very unlikely that they will want to work with you, no matter how good the proposal is. 不管你有多好，基本上都是一个比较的机会。So the next question is, do you want to bid? 如果你明知道是赔标 even though you know that your chances are almost zero, do you still want to bid? 这标赔还是不赔？ Depends on what?
If I have time.
Okay, if I have time. What else? Do you have future cooperation? How do you know that this customer has got future cooperation? 你怎么知道这个客户你赔了这个标，将来就有机会 ？How do you know that if you were to submit a proposal, you help them get one of the 3 bids? How do you know that because of that, they will give you chances of future cooperation?
反过来想，不赔就肯定没机会。
不赔是没事 If you don't bid, then there's no chance. Okay, so how do you manage that? And as one of you has mentioned, depends on my time. 那你怎么知道你这个时间投入值不值 ？How do you know it's worth your investment in your time and effort in this proposal? One key thing that we can think about is, now in an RFP, 如果客户给你一个招标通知一个 RFP, In an RFP, there will be different requirements, right? And all the customer's requirements, you can actually clarify with the customer which of those requirements are more important. You can ask the customers, can you talk to the people in charge of different requirements and see what they say? Right? If the customer is more cooperative, right, would like to give you more information, would like to be more communicative, 愿意跟我们做进一步的沟通, chances are this is a customer that we know that if we help them this time, they may help us next time. They like to communicate with us. If you ask a few questions and the reply that we get is the customer says, don't talk to me. Everything you need to know is in the RFP. 不要找我，你要的所有的信息都在 RFP 里面，继续看。Alright, so this is a signal to say that if I were to help you with this, I don't think that you are going to help us in the future. So that's in a way we can tell whether we want to go ahead or not to help the customer. So this is customer call it very vague needs. Sometimes customers don't even know what they want. Customers use price as a benchmark for bids. As we showed earlier, price is not the real reason why you lost a bid. 价格不是主要的原因。如果说我们肥标了、丢标了，价格不是主要原因。不过客户怎么说呢？ Although price is not the key reason, the customer, if you ask them why you did not buy from us, why we lose the bid, usually customer will just tell us your price is too high. 价格可能不是客观来说，价格不是主要原因，但是客户总会跟我们说，你就太贵了，所以没用到。This is the reason they'll give, and it could be really the case that the person, the company that got the bid, may have a lower price. 可能还真的就是说中标的可能价格还比我们低。But what the customer did not say is there are other bids that are even lower prices that also did not get bid. 可能也有其他的一些标，它价格更低，但也没中标。But the customer will just tell us, oh, your price is too high. Price may be a reason, but it's not the complete reason. So this is something. So when the customer has RFP, we react, and then it's not a current supplier. No, we're giving a short time. Basically, we are in without good chance, and then we get a loss. So these are some typical behaviors. So customer may have the needs, but a lot of underlying issues can be certain issues, certain constraints, certain buyers, certain risks that we are thinking about. We're always looking for current suppliers, and there may be certain special interests from different groups. The bigger the bid from the customer side, 如果标越大，项目越大 the bigger the project. From the customer's side, are there more people involved in making the decision, or are there less people involved? 从客户角度，如果这项目越大，他们参与购买的人、采购的人是越多还是越少 ？More people will be involved, right? And when more people are involved, do they think the same, or do they have different agendas? 他们思想是统一还是有分歧 ？There are a lot of different ideas. So different people have got different special interests. So different people are pulling from different directions. So we don't know. So 80% of all B2B sales are made with product suppliers, not just bidding, everything. 不仅是竞标的一个情况，大部分的一些只要是公对公的一些销售 ，whether it's industrial products, whether it's industrial services, even right down to business services like even like hotels selling rooms to companies, anything that is B2B. 80% of the time, it's likely to be made with current suppliers. 20% of the time, it will go for new suppliers. So if you're looking at your bid win rate, 如果没有做一些投标竞标 can review for a while that what is your win rate generally? 你的那个中标率大概是多少 ？If you have a 20% win rate, in a way it is good news because this is the average. 平均就20%，如果你平时那个中标率20%，那也就基本上跟平均一样。The only thing is that if you want to improve your win rate,
What can you do？ 如果你要提高你的中标率，你可以怎么做？What would be the easiest way to improve your win rate？ 你要提高中标率的最容易、最简单的方法是什么？少竞标。You reduce your bids. Why is that good? 为什么是好事？ Why is reducing your bids a good thing for the company? Not just for you, you do less thing, but why is it good for the company?
Reputation.
Reputation. What else?
Saving costs.
Saving costs. What kind of costs?
Time.
Time. Okay. We'll talk about it later on. From a salesperson's point of view, your most important resource is time. 从一个销售人员的一个角度，你最重要、你最宝贵的资源就是时间。Why? Because time can be used for good customers, time can be used for bad customers. If you use it for good customers, you get better results. If you use it for bad customers, you get no results. Right? So that's the time allocation. Number two, it's also because of when you go for bids, you also need to use internal resources. 你如果要投标的话，你需要用到内部的一些资源。Right? So you may need to do some traveling. You may need to use some of your engineers' time, some engineering expertise. 你需要用到很多方面的一些技术方面的一些支持。Right? And these are time, these are resources taken away from the company to do something. And then if the chances of winning is not very high, then you could be wasting a lot of resources. So if let's say just out of just for the sake of easy calculation, so on an average month, 如果平均我们一个月we submit 5 bids, just for the sake of easy calculation, right? If we on average month we submit 5 bids, by just reducing that 5 bids to 4, and not doing anything else different, right? Just reducing 5 bids to 4. 如果你把你的那个投标率从5个目标降到4， the one that you think is the least likely to succeed, you just cancel it away. You just focus on 4 that are more likely to succeed. Immediately, your win rate becomes 25%. Right? Just by doing that thing. Even though that may not have a lot of impact on your sales targets, your revenue, and all that, but you'll find that you actually get more time to work on the remaining 4 bids. 也能够就是分配到这个时间，每个项目如果是值得你投入时间的，你能投更多的时间、精力跟资源。So you can commit more resources to the remaining 4 bids, and who knows, maybe other than 4 bids, one will get it because it's the average. One more, you may get it because you have such a great solution, right? Even though the best solution, the win rate is 52%. Right? 你如果你的方案最好的那个方案，你的那个胜算是52%。So maybe if you don't get it this month, you may get it next month. So 50-50. But if you go by the law of averages, so you can actually, if you're able to commit the resources on the right kinds of opportunities, you can actually increase the result. Okay? So this is something just to think about. From the customer's point of view, customers might have made the decision who to buy from before requesting for a proposal. 客户在那个什么 RFP 之前，在发这个招标通知之前，很多时候都已经有倾向要跟随。This is not just in China. This is global. Everywhere in the world is the same. Customers feel like they want to buy from someone, and before they ask for RFP. Now, why do they still need to go for RFP if they have decided whom to buy from? 为什么还要做这个竞标呢？如果说我已经打算跟谁买，为什么要做竞标？
Regulation. Sometimes they must.
They must, right? It's a regulation, it's audit, you need to have 3 bids no matter what for a certain size. So they need to do the procedure. 要就是跪下场，they need to go through the motion. So from the customer's point of view, when they want to come up with this RFP, do they come up with an original idea? Do they actually work up an original idea to come up with RFP? or do they copy and paste it from some of their potential suppliers？当我们客户要就是做这个招标通知的时候，这个 RFP 的时候，他们是自己原创说我们要什么东西，还是他们会山寨我们的一些不同供应商的一些一些细节？哪个会比较多？Original ideas more, or they will copy and paste more? Copy and paste, right? Everybody wants to work less, right? So they will copy and paste from different suppliers. Now, if we were being copied and pasted into the RFP, is it good or bad? 如果我们是被山寨的，然后RFP 跑出来坏什么？ It's usually good. They may copy our ideas and give to a cheaper supplier. That is a risk. But most of the time, if they want to copy and paste some of our things into RFP, it's usually a good thing. Why? Because when RFP comes out, it plays to our strengths. 当他有这个招标通知的时候，我们有那个我们的优势都在这个招标通知里。So usually it's a good thing. So customers will have other criteria besides price. Usually they pretend it's all about price. So what we want to do is there is this thing called the upstream and downstream. The gray circle over here is when the customer says, I want something. Either this is an RFP, or they ask you to say, do you have something, can you give me a quote? 这灰色这个圆圈就是说，客户说他要么就是招标，要么就是说我有什么需求，你能不能给我个报价？ This is where the traditional sales starts here, when customer say that they have a real need. But when it's here, usually customers have already decided roughly who they want to buy from. This applies to bidding and non-bidding as well. 不管是竞标还是非竞标，基本上就是当客户有一个明确要求的时候、需求的时候，他们基本上都已经就是什么打算跟谁买，或多或少已经打算跟谁买。So this is where the traditional sales process starts here, and sometimes it can be too late. So what we sometimes need to do, especially when we're talking about solutions, things that are huge, complex, and high price. 尤其是你的这个方案又是庞大、复杂，然后价位高，因为很庞大。Right? The more complex it is, the more the higher price it is. You need to work with customers way before they say they need something. So this could be something that you may need to talk to different customers way before they decide what they want, and you need to influence them before they decide what they want. So this is what we are looking at. If you start your sales process over here, usually even if it's not bidding, even if it's something that's simpler, 就算不是招标的一个情况啊，竞标的情况，就算是个简单的一个销售情况，你 will be very much squeezed. 如果你是那个什么客户说我有需求，然后会很多人参与，那个什么这个价格就会就是非常非常的受到挑战。So that's something we need to look into. How we need to work with customers before they have a real need. Now, of course, we don't work with all customers on that. We need to work with selected customers. Before that, what we will do is to look into this concept of price and value. 就来就是了解我们的价格跟价值的一个区别。Now, is there a difference between price and value? 价格跟价值有区别吗？价格围绕价值，还有 Is there a difference between price and value? 价跟价值有一个价格围绕价值，价值也会围绕价值。Right, in a very, very simple form, price is what you pay. Value is what you get. 价格是你付出的，价值是你得到的。This is something very simple. It came from Warren Buffett, 是 Warren Buffett 的一个名言。Right? This applies to how a share investor select the right stocks. It also applies to any buy and sell situation. 跟我们做股票还有一些买卖情况是不一样，价格是你付出的，价值是你得到的。And what this means is that when a customer has got a price objection， 当客户有一个价格疑义的时候 ，part of the reason could be that the customer believe that what they are getting is less than what they are paying。如果客户有什么价格疑义，他可能会觉得他得到的比他付出的还少。So as a result, no, this thing is not worth the price because I'm not getting a lot. Right? Number two, what it also means is value is defined by the customer. It's not defined by the seller. 价值是由客户定义的，不是由卖方定义的。Unless the customer believes whatever you provide has got value to them, they will not think that it is valuable to them. 除非这客户认为你所提供的是真的物有所值，否则的话，他是你有再好的卖点，他也不认。That's customer's mindset. Now, just give you a scenario. Let's talk about water. 就是以水来作为这个例子。Now, assuming that we got water here on the desk, if you finish the water on the desk, we got water in a container, we got water on the side, we got lots of water in this room. Right? 这会议室里面有很多水，喝完还会有。And someone comes in trying to sell you 昆仑山泉水，昆仑 water, this is better water, right? And it just so happens that you got 1,000 RMB in your pocket extra. 你也假设，你兜子里面，你口袋里面有额外的1000块人民币，1000块钱额外的钱。So this guy comes in trying to sell you better water, and you have 1,000 RMB in your pocket. You can use it anyhow you like it. 你要怎么花就怎么花1000块。How much will you pay for this Kunlun Mountain water? 你用花多少钱来就是来买这个昆仑山的水？ How much? Close to nothing. Zero. Okay. Why zero? Yeah, well, but this is not Kunlun water. It's better water. The more you drink, the younger you become. 越喝越年轻。
If that's true, that's clearly.
Okay, that's one scenario. Okay, another scenario. Assuming that you're driving from Shanghai to Ningbo. Right, if you're driving from Shanghai to Ningbo, what road you take is the Hangzhou Bay Bridge, Hangzhou Dacha, the bridge across the sea. Right, so while you're traveling on the bridge across the sea, in the middle part of the bridge, your car broke down. And the reason the car broke down is because it's overheated. 过热，散热器没水。There's no water in the radiator. Right, so you know for sure that if you were to put water into the radiator, the car will start, it will go. 你知道这个车只要是加入水就能够启动，就能够走。Right, but you got no water on your car. So someone passed by, and then they found that your car broke down, and they also found that they got water in the car. Right, and they are trying to sell you the water in their car. You know that if you put the water into your car will start and it can go. How much will you be willing to pay for this water?
We'll start from 10.
How much will be your cutoff point? What will be your budget? Above how much you will say no? 超过多少你就 Sorry? 100? Any different? Why 100? 为什么100?
That is the most I can pay for water.
Okay, the most you can pay. Okay.
Well, it's easy.
You're cheap. Okay, just normal water. Any other different bids?
I don't know how much cost back on the service.
If you call it towing service, how much it will cost? Right. So if a towing service is about 200, 300, 400, so maybe that's how you benchmark. 拖车肯定要到200、300、400，是吧？要拖车一个服务。Okay. What if the reason that you are traveling from Shanghai to Ningbo is because there is a very important contract that you want to sign, right? And you don't want to be late. The contract is worth millions of dollars. Right? What if that is a scenario? How much will we pay? Someone customer is waiting there for you to
How
sign
much
contract.
cash I got?
How much? If you have 1,000 quite as well.
Probably all.
Maybe all, right? So what is the difference between the two scenarios? Both scenarios, what is a product? In both scenarios, what is a product? Water, right? 两个情景产品都是水。Right? In scenario 1, you get a better water and no one wants to buy. In scenario 2, it's normal water, but minimum we want to buy is 100. So and maximum can be much more. So the product did not change. The price changed. Why? The results different. The needs are different. The situation are different, and as a result, the needs are different. And when the needs are different, customer will perceive the same product with different value. 同样的产品在不同情景，它的价值是不一样的。It's the same product, different scenario, different needs, different value. So if you're going to tell a customer who's not ready for intelligent solutions, if you tell a customer that China labor cost is increasing, it's also harder to get trained staff. As a result, you need to get better machines, better equipment that can work with less staff. If the customer is not ready for that kind of concept, right, they will not be willing to pay more. But if the customer, on the other hand, is ready and are willing to give it a try, they will be willing to pay more. Right? So it's a matter of in what is the readiness of the customer. 客户是不是愿意来做这项投资? If they're not ready, they're not willing to pay. If they're ready, they're willing to pay. So this is some of the things. So what's one thing that customer may value? A value is not a real value unless customer wants it. 客户如果觉得这不是我现在要，他就觉得不是个价值。It could be something that they want 5, 10 years down the road, but it is not something that they want it now. They may not be willing to pay. This is something that we will think about it. The other thing that we need to distinguish is between price and total cost. Now, if you are the customer, if you are the purchasing manager of the customer, 如果你是客户的采购经理 procurement manager, purchasing manager of the customer, is there a difference between the price that you pay for and the cost of having an equipment? 如果你是采购经理，你买一台设备的价格，跟你那个拥有这台设备的成本是不是一样？Let's go into a different scenario. Maybe equipment is too complex. Let's go to something that we know. I mean, we're all guys here. Usually, guys when come together like to talk about not girls. 一般是吧？男生在一起未必谈女生。Right? Guys come together usually. There are two things. One is soccer, which we'll not talk about it. The other thing is about cars. Right? Guys come together, let's talk about cars. Now, if you were to buy a car, if you were to spend like just for easy calculation, if you were to pay 100,000 RMB for a car, is that the cost of owning the car? 如果你买辆车，你花了10万块钱买辆车，这就是你拥有这辆车的成本。如果不是的话，还有什么成本？If it's not the cost